Hello YouTube, Jumpy23 back with round 8. So at this point, 4 gamers have already made top cut by going 7-0 in Swiss. Obviously we're not watching any of those. Instead we have Eternallywandering or Cactu versus Buzzed27. So this game's at 6-1. So the winner makes top cut and the loser has to play round 9 of Swiss. I'll start by describing the players. So Cactu is a guy who is, first of all, one of the greatest Toho players in the world. He's had a couple world records in embodiment of Scarlet Devil, but he had gotten to Pokemon a few years ago and he's only been playing ladder that whole time. And me and some other people have been encouraging him to try his hand at actual tournaments, and this is his first tournament, and he's now one set away from making top cut. So big ups to Cactu. Buzzed, on the other hand, has he's been around a little less long than Cactu, but actually has played tournaments in that time. When I first saw Buzzed play in Mushi League, I genuinely thought, wow, this guy sure stinks and knows how to do nothing but fumble a Claydol. But he's gone a long way since then. And now he's pretty good and in the same position as Cactu. So one of these players is making top cut in this video. One of them has to keep playing round 9. Let's find out who that is. Medicham and a Smeargle lead. Wow, you hate to see that as Buzzed. And Shadow Ball turn 1. Okay, so Medicham is the worst lead you can face as Smeargle. If it's Jolly, it's just faster. It often carries Lum, so you can't even Spore. If you're carrying Lum, the Shadow Ball is actually pretty safe because, like, even if they Spore, you can just, you know, play the same game turn 2. But then now I'm way behind. Cactu goes Zap on Metagross, which is a pretty good switch in. It resists everything except for Rock Slide. Gets a sub up, but then the Smeargle has Whirlwind, so Buzzed is lucky to have Whirlwind on his Smeargle for that. However, he's now still down 6 Pokemon to 4, and all he's got to show for it is 1 Spike, and Cactu has a Kingdra. Kingdra is a terrible find for a hyper offense team like Buzzed has as well. You know you're not going to have any good resist to these super powerful water type moves. Cactu actually going for Ice Beam. It's actually weaker than Surf in rain, but it does have that freeze chance, so that is fair enough. Oh, but the T-Bolt Para on the Kingdra helps Buzzed avoid just the most devastating fate. That being said, this Jirachi is still, it's faster, and it has Thunder apparently. What a weird Jirachi. It's like Mixed Jira, I guess. Usually see that paired with Spikes, but not in this case. And the Gengar is physical. It had Shadow Ball and then an invested Explosion into that Zapdos. Physical Gengar. This is a crazy team from Cactu. Man, this game is going so fast. I'm way behind, but what a thrilling game. And the Metagross has Endure, but the Zapdos uses Substitute. Holy crap. And now the Metagross is going to go down. Yeah, Endure means it has 0 Bolt because you need to be super max speed to get value out of Endure. So it's Jirachi against the world for Buzzed. That being said, it's a good Pokemon to have against the world as it can definitely 1v1 Zap and then Medicham after. So it depends on, oh, never mind, it doesn't. I was going to say it depends on what Cactus last is, but not anymore. Now the Medicham's just going to win and Buzzed forfeits. Wow, that was a short game 1. Definitely the shortest game I've commentated so far in this tournament. Now on to game 2. Oh, Gyarados lead. Buzzed just going from crack to crack. His game 1 team was probably a team he got from Niche Max, who's a player who loves indoor Metagross and Hyper Offense. And then game 2 with Gyarados and Donphan, he may have gotten this one from a certain Umbreon-loving user who I'm not sure I'm allowed to name on my commentary anymore. But I think this is probably Stall from Buzzed. That being said, Stall into CM Pass is another terrible matchup. Cactu has just called these matchups absolutely perfectly. And gets a Doug in on the Magneton. Doug plus CM Celebi I tend to think is a bad combo. Because, like, you only need one or the other in order to break through Blissey usually. But he's got the Starmie, so one of the worst aspects of Dugtrio is, of course, that it gives free real estate to Skarmory. But Starmie gets the spin, and it's obviously the best spinner to fit on a CM Pass team. As if you give it a free Combine, it's going to do a lot of damage. And now Celebi is in on a do-nothing Umbreon, so it's going to be a free CM, and Buzzed has to go to Skarmory, which is the only thing that can, like, roar it out. But it's going to take half from a hidden power. Is he pulling? No, I was going to say, is he pulling something that can kill Skarmory? But he glucks out and pulls the Dugtrio, giving him a Spike. He's still super behind in this game, though. He does have a Blissey. Well, I'm sure he's happy to have a Blissey here, as You know, that's the only thing you could possibly have that could stop the Calm Mind Assault. But does the Celebi? No, Celebi does not have Leech Seed. So it's 2 attacks, CM Pass, which is the more common set, but you know, Leech would be really funny to see here. As, you know, the Skarm has to take yet another chunky hit back, and he keeps pulling the Dugtrio. Now that's terrible for Cactu, as now the Dugtrio can't kill the Blissey. So, you know, that Skarmory's getting some luck with its Roar Pulls for sure. I was going to say, you want the Spike normally for your Skarm Bliss so that you can not be dugged, but Cactu's always got that Starmie. But if you just pull the Dugtrio over Spike, then, yeah, you don't have Spin, or at least Spin doesn't help you nearly so much anymore. But he does have a Metagross as well. And if this Metagross has Rock Slide, then that's another just absolutely devastating threat. It does not. It goes for Mash again. Buzz was switching to Donphan to scout for the Rock Slide, but instead he gets Mash raised on, and now the Metagross can easily tank an Earthquake, and since the Magneton is dead, nothing can revenge it either. So Cactu's just going to stay, and gets a crit! Oh man, that's probably game, but Buzz is going to play it out, going for Dragon Dance. If he can, he gets exploded on. Cactu doesn't want the smoke of, you know, even risking like getting crit to death by Gyarados. You know, that being said, now he gets a Spin, but the Dugtrio took Spike earlier, so it can't come in for free. So instead, he's just going to go to Celebi and start Calm Minding up. I think that's a good play. Buzz now going to fish crits or freezes as Cactu tries and CM up, but if Cactu gets a few CMs off, then he can go to whatever his last is, and it should be able to win. He's at the point now where he can even Giga Drain to heal past Ice Beam, but he doesn't go for it, and Buzz revealing Seismic Toss at the funniest moment. Another option there would have actually been to go to Dugtrio with your CM boosts. Now you obviously can't die to even 2 Ice Beams, but Substitute Suicune is also a good last to have here. Obviously, if Blissey goes down, the Suicune is going to win, as Skarmory and Umbreon can't do anything to it. So Cactu just needs his Suicune to 1v1 the Blissey. +6 Suicune does 2-shot with Surf, and it looks like he's going to have the time to get there. With no Sand up, Blissey has a really tough time beating Suicune. So that's why Sub-Rain-Dance is a thing, although I don't know if that's what Cactu's got here. Anyway, he gets to his +6. He can even sub again and Surf. And even sub again after that so that the Umbreon can't, like, Toxic, because I think Umbreon might live a single Surf. But this looks mega over. Yeah, the plus special attack, like, modest max Surf. Easily 2-shots Blissey. Now he's going to sub. No, he's not. Alright, whatever. It doesn't matter either way. Now you sub to avoid getting Toxic. Never mind, you don't, because Buzz forfeits. Well, that was a short set. Buzz said in chat halfway through Game 2, nightmare matchups, and yeah, they definitely were. Maybe not the most thrilling set, but I promised Cactu I would commentate one of his games this tournament, so I picked this one, seeing the matchup, not knowing how it was going to go. At the very least, fun teams, so I hope you had fun watching. That Game 1 was pretty exciting. See you next time.